Hello, Whovians, and welcome to the third channel. We're back with another interview. Oh, yeah, I know, you should be excited. And today, we've got a brand new interview, and you will be able to notice something really different about this interview, where, as in Apple, and I am going to investigate how to fix this. Now it's a prop. I'm going to investigate because I am so annoyed it doesn't work. So you'll be able to tell who's got the better audio, which will be hilarious because, yeah, it'll just be funny. And anyway, so my guest, he is best known for talking to himself in different voices without moving his mouth because he's a ventriloquist. And we'll learn more about it. He was also appeared on reboot of Cracker Jack. It's Max Fulham.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to you and everyone watching.
Hello. So, is the word ventriloquism hard to say without moving your mouth?
The word ventriloquism, well, it does have a few difficult letters actually. V is not very easy because you still have to use your the. So you've got to use your teeth and your lips to make a V. So that is one that you make by different means, and then the rest of the sounds are pretty easy until you get to the end. And then you've got a whacking great M on the end of that, which is never fun. No.
Wow. Yeah, and so Harry Hill. We're going off a tangent really quickly here, but Harry Hill does a little bit of ventriloquism. Do you reckon he's good at it, or do you reckon he needs to improve?
I think Harry Hill is deliberately bad at ventriloquism. I love all the bits he does with puppets. Harry Hill is one of my favourite comedians. I really like the fact that he has a sort of appreciation for such a sort of traditional thing as puppets and ventriloquism. I mean, he has some really cool puppets as well. Always loved sort of Lord Sugar on TV Burp and stuff like that. But yeah, I think he's playing it for comic value, which, do you know, sometimes I'm tempted to do that, just be bad for the fun of it, because it is fun to
do. Yeah. Now we're going to go into the meat of where a good interview always begins, in a sandwich with a little bit of brown bread on top. I don't know why I said that.
So have we had the little bit of brown bread?
No, probably.
Probably. So is this now the filling?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, should
right,
be.
Okay.
Yeah. How did you get into ventriloquism?
How did I get into ventriloquism? Well, I've always loved sort of entertaining. I was often putting on sort of made-up shows to my family and friends and all of that when I was little. And then my parents bought me a puppet when I was about 9 years old for Christmas, and became a bit obsessed with puppets because I think they're great, and I still do. And I saw a ventriloquist on YouTube, and because I used to search YouTube to watch all the things with puppets in that I could possibly find, because I was just so sort of hooked on puppets. I thought they were great, so I'd watch as much as I could, and I found a ventriloquist, and thought, oh, I'll go down that YouTube rabbit hole. So watched loads of ventriloquists from across the years, really old stuff, really modern stuff, and I thought, oh, that looks cool, because the person controlling the puppet is stood next to the puppet. It's not hands above head. It's like a sort of Muppet star. It's different. So I thought, I'll try that. I'll give that a go. So I then set to work practicing, and it was just sort of a hobby, a fun little thing I did as sort of just play. And I think that's why I was able to sort of teach myself in the way that I did, because it was just playing around. It was just fun. I think if I had to learn now as an adult, if I had to learn now, I probably wouldn't have the patience, because it does take a long time to get to a stage where you are sort of proficient in the skills.
Yeah. And I've noticed, I never normally mention, but I've noticed in your background you've got a suit jacket on your door. Did that shrink in the wash, or is that for one of your puppets?
It's just far away, actually. It does actually fit me. It's just really far away. No, that's one of my granddad's jackets. That's one that my granddad wears. But he's not wearing it at the moment, so I just hang it up there. Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
So, as a child, what TV show inspired you to not just do ventriloquism as a whole, but get into the furry, the wooden, the absolutely amazing puppets?
Oh, well, there were lots of puppets on TV. There's not as many now, and so things like, I mean, even the puppets in the CBBC office. So, sort of Ed and Oucho were a huge sort of thing for me. I loved the Oucho puppet. Warwick did an amazing job of that, and then I sort of saw the sort of the beginnings of Hacker and Dodge as well, and they're still legends, absolute legends. But I think I mean Basil Brush is in there as well, definitely in the mix. And then oh yeah, just there's just lots and lots
Yeah,
of any puppet program I was sort of
obviously.
transfixed by because I thought that's really cool. I was a bit bored by cartoons because it's flat and it's not real. There's nothing there. I prefer like
Yeah,
a practical thing with an actual set. You could touch that. That's cool. That's really really cool. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I my little I love puppets as well. But my little journey with same with Ed, Oucho, and Phil and them lot was that the fact that I've since 2021 I've now met Ed Petrie and I met Phil Fletcher and I've interviewed them and I've got Hacker to say happy birthday and I've had Sweet randomly sing happy birthday for no apparent reason. But have you seen the Warwick's new program on BBC Alaba? The more it's one where he played a little toucan, played a little toucan.
I
That,
haven't actually. No.
well, they're on. It's on the iPlayer, and it's well worth watching, even if you
Give it a
don't.
watch.
Because I don't speak Gaelic, but I'm
Neither
watching it.
do I. And I
No, I
think
don't.
ventriloquism would be more difficult.
Yeah, but I did think it's interesting. Now, the other thing is that today, as of recording, the brand new rebooted series of Fraggle Rock is now out on Apple TV Plus.
Yes.
I'm 3 episodes in. It's fantastic. I've got to
Wow.
say,
3 episodes in already. That's an
yeah.
achievement.
But with TV, you are on TV famous a little bit. You've appeared on a few shows. One show that drives me up the wall, but the only reason why I sort of like the episode because you were on it is Game of Talent. It drives me up the wall because they brought back catchphrases. They didn't need to. What was your experience like on Game of Talent?
It was brilliant. It was really, really good. I loved that. That was it was a really fun show to be a part of, to sort of get to showcase what I do on such a great platform. I mean, prime time telly on ITV. You know, that's pretty big, and it was the reaction to it was quite incredible because I wasn't allowed to, because it was a guessing game essentially. I had to guess what our talents were. We sort of walked out in plain clothing. We're like, "Hello, my name's Max," and then gave a few clues, and then came out and did a bit of our act. So it was a thing I had to keep secret because obviously I can't give away that I'm going to be on
Yeah,
it because then it sort of spoils it because they wanted people to sort of guess along on social media
yeah,
and stuff like that. So I couldn't tell anyone, friends. So it was a massive surprise. I mean, my phone just started vibrating as soon as I walked out onto the screen. I was like, "Oh my goodness, people are watching!" And then, you know, new followers and things like that. People from all over, you know, messages
wow.
saying really enjoyed that, which is lovely. It's really really nice.
Yeah. And now when I had watched it, obviously the whole point of guessing games is ITV's big thing at the moment because of Mass Singer and that. And I found out that Game of Talent isn't an ITV original, as I always say. It's an international version. Can't remember where, it's probably Korea, because that's where the Mass Singer began. But you also played on primetime children's BBC with the Cracker Jack. It's a revival, so I'm not as annoyed with it because it's a revival and they acknowledged the previous series. But what was it like being on the Cracker Jack?
Oh, Crackerjack was one of the most fun things I've ever done. The atmosphere in that studio and the people working on it are just a delight. It's the one of the best. It's just an incredible team. Sam and Mark did such a good job of it. They are such pros and so much fun and so good at what they do. And then the whole team from sort of production right down to runners were a delight, and it was really good. You know, I've made friends from that, which is really lovely. And to be asked back after doing series one to go on series two was really really amazing. and getting to be on CBBC. I mean, that's a proper dream. That's amazing.
Did you ever watch any of the older editions of Crackerjack, like with Jimmy Cranky and the
Well,
Babylon?
I'd seen clips, but that was sort of before my time. But
Yeah.
I had obviously seen clips because I think, I'm very into variety, and there's a lot of variety stars that were on that back in the day. Jan Hunt, Bernie Clifton, and all of those people that I really, really like.
Yeah. And so, with you being this talented genius, which I am allowed to say because I've got as less talent than a mop. Um, and so, with ventriloquism, the one thing that I've never got to grips with is voices. How do you create a voice when you're trying to concentrate on not moving your mouth?
It's I mean, actually coming up with a voice for a new character is a whole process in and of itself. But there are lots of different ways you can vary your voice. So whether it be sort of pitch, so literally like just take my voice up higher a bit. This is a new voice. This is a different voice. Or if I take it down there, that's a different voice. It's still my voice, but it's lower. Or you've got the sort of tone of the voice. So I could, for example, one of my characters has a bit more of a nasal voice, so I could make it a bit more nasal like that, which means that's a different sort of style of voice. It's and then accents on top of that. It could be anything from anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. You got accents at your disposal, and also pace as well. If the tone and the pace is slow, it suggests something about the character. So there's loads of different ways of doing voices, and it's just finding a voice that's comfortable to do for a long period of time, because obviously, and also is achievable because I'm often having to switch between my voice and the character's voice quite quickly. I mean, sometimes even between a few other voices as well, if I'm feeling ambitious.
Now, Jeff Dunham, who is a famous ventriloquist,
Very famous, yeah.
does a few jokes where, because I don't like the word gags, does a few jokes where they're in the box and they're all whittering on. Is that easy to do, or is that a difficult thing to do?
I think it feels slightly more exposed because you don't have the sort of misdirection, essentially, is what the puppet is, because
if the hand's moving, then you're looking at the hand because the hand feels alive.
the hand feels alive.
But if the hand goes away, don't go away. When I go away, then I feel a bit more exposed because there's only one place to look, and that's at my lips.
And that's a bit, it feels a bit more exposing. But I suppose you have to just, I have to act it more. There's such a huge part of ventriloquism is acting. So I have to act as if I am having an actual conversation with these things in a case, and they are moving. I have to really act that part and sell it to the audience.
Now, not only do you appear on TV without any prior notice and delight viewers, you also appear on stage and delight, let's say, even more viewers because you can actually see the viewers. What's Panto? What's Panto like, and how did you get into Panto and knowing you wanted to be this button Panto star?
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. I've always loved Panto since I was a tiny little child, about that big. And I remember sort of early pantos and just being enthralled by the sort of spectacle of it, but also the comedy of it. It's just there's so much comedy to it, which is what drives me. Comedy is my thing. It's my fuel. I just love comedy, and so I got my first opportunity to be in panto when I was still at sixth form, actually. So I managed to get some time off to do this pantomime, which was an incredible opportunity, and went away and did my first sort of big professional job. And since then, I've been doing it ever since. So that, I think York, which is what I've just finished this Christmas, was my fifth year doing panto. And yeah, it was Buttons in Cinderella, which is sort of like I play the comic role every year. So that'll be sort of wishy-washy in Aladdin, or it could be, I mean, I've done Aladdin a lot. I haven't done any others other than Cinderella. It could be sort of a silly Billy Muddles character. But in Cinderella, it's Buttons, and that's sort of seen as like the ultimate comic character because he gets to sort of really play the pathos of the situation, because obviously he gets majorly friend zoned by Cinderella, which is cruel and hurts. But yeah, it was a fantastic thing to do.
And so with Panto being on for so long because it's a season, and because it's like the show is about, I'll say about an hour. Does that affect your voice by like in it?
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is a lot of work doing the show, which will probably run about 2.5 hours twice a day, 6 days a week, and it's a lot. So I mean, I have to treat my voice like other performers do. You know, there's a lot of great singers in Panto, so everyone as a cast do a physical warm up and a vocal warm up every day. And I'll also, I'll do other things myself, but it is all about looking after your voice. You have to look after your voice, especially because, if I lose my voice, the show loses 3 or 4 characters because I've got so many different voices in the show. So yeah, it's a tricky one, but you have to sort of learn how to look after your voice.
Yeah. And now moving away from the pantomime. Oh no, I didn't. Oh yes, I did. Was your favorite? My favorite of your characters is the monkey or monkey. I think it's just monkey. Yeah. Would, if Jed McCluso came up to you and said, "Right, we want you in line of duty. You a monkey. Would you be able to do it? Would it be too hard to do it serious, or would you find it easier to do it in a serious manner?"
I mean, it is a bit absurd having a talking monkey, isn't it? I mean, Gordon is one of my favorite characters as well. Yeah, I mean, it would be difficult to do it seriously. I suppose we could do like a quick sort of like line of duty. Okay, right. I haven't watched it, but okay, we'll do a quick. Do you want to come up? Come up. Yeah, just come up here. Right. Okay. Here we go. We'll do a quick. This is going to be serious, totally serious.
It's gonna be serious.
Yeah, it's going to be serious.
Tom, stop laughing. It's serious.
It's serious. It's going to be serious, like an interrogation.
What have I done?
Don't know. I'm going to interrogate you.
Find out.
Find out.
Shine a lamp in my face.
Don't have a lamp. Right, you.
Yeah.
What did you do it?
No.
Oh yeah, you did.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. Wouldn't work, Tom. Wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't. But it's like ventriloquism you can't take seriously. I don't know any case of some like the most dramatic. I can't imagine puppets in Shakespeare. Definitely not.
I mean, you can definitely use puppets in a serious way, but I think ventriloquism is such a good vehicle for comedy. It's made for it. It's great.
Yeah, and I do like to just warn the viewers that is a plastic hand in the background. He has not got someone's actual hand in a drawer.
I've just got very long arms.
Like to calm viewers. Now, of all time, from any decade, from any year, from any country, what is your favorite puppet show of all time?
Oh my goodness! Are we talking television?
You can say well. I'm mainly talking about television. We'll get onto the filmography in a second.
You see, in terms of puppet show, I think I'd probably have to say sort of Punch and Judy because it is so amazing. But in terms of television, something on camera. Oh my goodness, what a question! I mean, the sort of the Muppet Show was iconic because it had, I mean, it was so groundbreaking, and also had guests on, including ventriloquists. There were ventriloquists on the Muppet Show, which is such an odd concept because, you've got someone standing there with a puppet making the puppet talk, and then you've got all these puppets that seem almost more alive because they're being puppeteered in a different way. But I'd also give a special sort of mention to anything that involves Sooty, because I think I love Sooty and Sweep. I think that is such a good show, great entertainment, really sort of classic, and what Richard Cadell has done with it is amazing. He's sort of really keeping it going in a great way.
Yeah, I had watched an interview that the Magic Circle did with Sooty and Richard about how Richard had, until that live stream, had never actually sawn a doll in half with Sooty, and then saw the doll in half, which is a weird concept. But I also love Sooty, Sweep, Sue, Little Cousin, Scampy. I've seen all the shows, including Harry Corbett. Harry Corbett's just amazing. Now, if Sooty could talk, what voice do you reckon he would have?
Oh, I think he'd be a right butch northern bloke. No, I think because we've got so used to the sort of whispering, I think he would be quite softly spoken. Would be sort of a really softly. It's such a weird concept to think about. I can't even imagine it. I like to think that he's sort of holding back his words, and then one day someone will anger him, and he'll just let it all out in a massive rant.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be on a sitcom. It'd be on an adult sitcom when they've got him as a guest star and someone's angered him. Now, if you had to work with any British puppet, who would you want to work with?
Oh, any British puppet in the history of British puppets?
Yes.
Oh, that's difficult. That's a very difficult question. I mean, the first one that does spring to mind is Hacker, which I know it's not even very sort of aspirational because I know Phil Hacker's brilliant, but Hacker just makes me laugh so much. Phil is so brilliant at it. There's probably been a few times where I haven't been able to remember where I've laughed as much as when I've been with Phil and he's been doing Hacker. It's been just hysterically funny and has that sense of anarchy that I love. You really don't know what Hacker is going to say or do next, and I love that. I'll keep thinking on that because I've probably got a better answer. But for now, Hackety Dog.
Well, Hacker is amazing. When I got Hacker to sing happy birthday to me and my dad, because our birthdays were round the corner from the interview, so I could chop them up and put them on my production company YouTube channel, he called Sweep stupid and walked off, which is like the best bit ever. I said, now I had one from Sweep just randomly, and you went, well, Sweep stupid, goodbye, and then toddles off. And that's like that's my mum's favourite moment of all
That's
time.
brilliant. That's fab.
That is just brilliant. Now, I'd like to air out the fact that Basil Brush is amazing, but he has ignored me many times when I've asked him to interview him. So,
He's a very busy fox.
yeah, but he let someone else interview him recently. Yeah, he's a
Oh no.
I know, it's outrageous.
Fox drama.
Yeah, Fox drama. And hopefully one day it'll reach to Christmas #1 again, because he attempted the Christmas #1 last year. Now, if you had your own TV show, what would you call it, and what would it be about?
What would I call it? I'm so bad with titles. Max Fulham. No, that's just my name. No, I need to come up with a better TV show. No, that's just what it is. No, I can't. No, not great with titles. What would it be about? It would be about many various different things. I wouldn't pick one theme. It would be nonsense based. Because I think
Would it be like a sketch show?
there'd definitely be a sketch element to it. I'd want it to be sort of very sort of choppy and dicey with some bits that carry through and some bits that don't at all. Because I think the we need more silliness really.
Now, with the history of puppets in CBBC and their own programs, so Philip Schofield had his own sitcom with Gordon the Gopher. So did Barney Howard and Never the Bear. Now, if you got to host CBBC for an afternoon, would you be begging the BBC to give you your own sitcom, you and Gordon? Would that work in a CBBC office manner as well, Gordon?
Oh, I mean, I think it'd be quite cool to. I'd love to do the CBBC office. That'd be really, really cool. And so I could bring elements of ventriloquism into it. Yeah, I mean, I think it would. I think it could work in a sitcom. I mean, if and do something sort of different with it. I think if those two sitcoms have happened, then I could definitely do a ventriloquism sitcom.
Yeah.
Ventritcom. No.
Because I think that the one thing that so puppets are amazing and awesome and whatever, but I feel like we've had enough puppet programs. We need more ventriloquism programs because there's not enough. If you think about variety on children's TV today, I keep an eye on this, so I know the answer. It's mainly Australian and American shows on the BBC. So they've got shows that It's like We Bare Bears is airing on Cartoon Network at the same time as CBBC. So I think ventriloquism needs more airtime. What's your opinion on ventriloquism on children's TV? Do you want more of it, less of it, or just a mix?
I mean, it would definitely work. It would absolutely work. I mean, there isn't much, if any, of it at the moment, really, ventriloquism wise. So I definitely think there's room for a ventriloquist, just maybe a ventriloquist somewhere, maybe like maybe a ventriloquist at some point on the sorry
Ow!
sorry a ventriloquist at some point, but I think because it is also such a sort of niche variety art form, it's you have to be careful not to sort of oversaturate it as well. It is sort of still a speciality act, so it's nice to mix in with other things.
Yeah, because America's Got Talent had a fantastic performer where she was singing, and then she got the puppet to sing. Is that, I don't know if you've ever done it, but would that be hard to sing opera without moving your mouth?
I mean, if you've got the opera singing technique, then it would just be as simple as doing ventriloquism, really. I mean, Granda does a song in my show, not opera, my Granda puppet. But yeah, it's if you've got singing technique, then you can combine that with ventriloquism. It's the only difficulty potentially would be you're still producing sounds in the same way. It would just be if you're wanting to project a bit more, you sometimes have the feeling that you want to give it a bit more space, because obviously ventriloquism massively reduces the space that the sound is coming through.
Now, Sam and Mark, who are people that
They are people.
yes, they are people. I would love to interview if they are watching. I don't know why they would be watching, but the kids might be watching. Yeah. Are they as nice as they seem on the screen?
Yes, like absolutely. They are exactly the same as you see them on screen. They are two lovely people who like a laugh, and it's that's why it's such a joy to work with them, and that's why I think that really carries across on screen as well. That's a sort of a genuine friendship, and also they're having genuine fun, and they're brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems very nice, and they seem like they love chocolate, because you're on a Channel 5 program where they spend the whole afternoon eating chocolate, called Britain's favourite chocolate bars.
Well, it makes sense.
They sat in the studio just eating, which is like the funniest thing ever, because you're expecting to be humiliating parents by putting gunge on them rather than eating a Yorkie. Just sat down, yeah. So, gunge, would you ever pour gunge onto a puppet, or would that be hard to wash out?
I mean, I love sort of slapstick and messy, ridiculous scenes, but I would be apprehensive of gunging a puppet, because I don't have the luxury of well, I've got sort of maybe a spare, but I don't have the luxury of other puppets who may have many replicas that they can therefore get away with gunging. And you're never quite sure how these things wash. They're not something you chuck in the washing machine. Not the no.
They've all got the label and it says "Do not wash, hand wash only."
Well, yeah, and then custom made ones, because they're constructed with foam and stuff like that. It might it's difficult to even wash them at all.
Yeah. Now, this is going to be the hardest question you've ever had to answer on the whole of the internet. If you had to choose, because I know people hate choosing, what
You can ask me my favourite puppet.
Your favourite character?
I'd have to say. Oh, sorry. I'd have to say. I don't know. It's interesting because one, I think it changes.
Yeah.
in terms of my characters, because sometimes I'll be doing shows and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really enjoying doing this routine at the moment. That's going really, really well. Or you'll have a new idea for something, you'll be working on that, and that's so exciting. I think though, sort of overall, I'd probably have to say my granddad character, just because of what I've been able to achieve with him. I think it's been, Game of Talents, Crackerjack, and my really early performances as well. Some of my first ones were with him as well. So that's because the significance and the sort of, there's a sentimentality there, as there is with all my puppets. But I'd have to say, I think Grandad, yeah.
Now, now one of the first pieces of content I saw you in was, I think it was, I can't remember the exact video, but it was the phone when they had the Apple repair and you opened the box and there was a little person in the Apple. That was one of the first ones I saw, and I think that day I saw it like four more times. And that is one of the funniest things ever, because me being an Apple, from 1 second I got tricked and thinking it was real, and then when I saw it with the puppet, I then realised, that makes more sense.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, that was just it was a silly little idea. I've still got the prop somewhere, but it's a bit old and shattered. But yeah, I just put together a little, because there's an old ventriloquist prop which is a head in a box, and I thought I've always wanted to put a new take on it, and sort of I'm still working on that actually. But yeah, I found an old iPhone box and I sort of paper mache a head into it that had a little mouth, and then came up with this idea that was the new sort of genius technical support for Apple, which was ridiculous.
Now, for fans of Countdown, we'll have a Countdown related question here. Now, on 8 out of 10 Casters Countdown, you see Susie Dent opening the Collins Dictionary, right? Now, the dictionary is called Collins, so we're going to call it Colin. What would a Colin dictionary, what would his voice be? What would a dictionary's voice be, bearing in mind he's called Colin?
Well, that one up there is a French dictionary, so it'd probably be French, so I wouldn't understand him. But it would be very well spoken, wouldn't it? A dictionary, it would be. I can imagine. Hello, are you a dictionary?
Oh, yes, I'm a dictionary.
You're a dictionary.
Yes, I got lots of words.
Lots of words.
Yes, I'm very good with words.
He's very good with words.
I'm very good with words.
Yes, you are.
Got a good vocabulary.
Yeah, it's a long word.
Yes, it's some words with difficult letters.
I don't think we'll get into the words with difficult letters.
Peppercorn.
Don't want peppercorns.
No, because over this interview you've been showing your talents, and there will be people asking how do you do ventriloquism, but we'll get to that at the end, because that's always a good closing question, because I have a few odd things to say about that. Now, with Wales being a part of Britain, and you would perform in Wales, and people would ask you to say the longest town name, can you say it to begin with, before we get on to the harder question? Can you say it normally? Can you say it normally?
No.
So would it be hard to say it without moving your mouth?
I mean, I think it's got, from what I know of the word, it's got a few difficult sounds in there, but the main thing would just be learning it like anyone else, just how to actually say that word.
Yeah. Even easier word, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, is that an easy ventriloquistic word?
It's not terribly easy, but it is possible. Gordon?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
There's a few P's in there, but it is possible.
Now, with microphones not be able to say P's and B's, would you be able to enlighten the viewers of the words that ventriloquists find hard to say?
Yes, so your difficult letters are your plosives, your p. So you got your B's, your P's, the M, were. Some people struggle with were because it really does use the lips in that sense. And you've also got F and V. Those are your main difficult ones. And essentially, there are different techniques to overcome that issue, but Basically, the tongue is doing the job of the lower lip and replicating sort of that within the mouth. So usually on the bit just behind the teeth. Don't know why I made that noise. Just behind the teeth, on the sort of the palate there. So roughly where you do T, but I move my tongue slightly further back. So I'll go from a T to a P for you, and that will give you a little insight. So I go T T T P P P P P P P P P P, which is weird. P P P, weird, odd, strange.
Strange. Now, with your career, because you're young like me, but probably older, and even though I feel like I'm an 80-year-old, but that's
Why?
that's a different problem for a different time machine. I don't know why I said that. What is your aspirations in the TV world first?
Be on it, I think, would be my first aspiration with TV. I would like to be on it, please. Thank you. No, I love TV as an art form, and I'm sort of very, very passionate about it. I think telly's great. I prefer telly to film. And I would like to do more of it. Just because, in any sense, I've done a few jobs as a runner now, and that's really fun. I've enjoyed working on the production side of things as well. So being involved with television, I think, is great. I would just like to do more of it.
And what are your stage aspirations?
Stage aspirations, sort of tying in with telly. There's no sort of specific, I want this. It's more just a sense of I want to continue to sort of be able to keep making people laugh, essentially, just on a bigger scale would be great.
And now, because apart from, well, you've not done much TV after, like, well, Game of Talent was on around about like 6, 7, so you're almost there at the. You've never done post Watershed. If you had to be on a panel show, this does not include Taskmaster, because Taskmaster you would have to go on in a puppet special, but Alex wants to do that because I gave him that suggestion. But what panel show would you want to be on?
Oh, what panel show would I like to be on? Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, sort of Mock the Week is sort of what people would consider sort of like the panel show of all panel shows, I think, because it's sort of so well established. I mean, it would be quite funny to be on Have I Got News for You and actually do some political stuff. But there's a lot of good panel shows out at the moment. A lot of sort of that are sort of pushing the format. There's oh, what's the one hosted by Richard Iowadi, and he
Question Team.
that's the one, Question Team. I've been enjoying that because the contestants then make up their own sort of round, and that I think that could be quite fun with a puppet.
You and Gordon would be fantastic on that. Like Flo and Joan were. That I could just imagine that now. I could see you in Dictionary Corner on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Count.
Oh, I'd love that. That is something I would love to do. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't already gone there, because they've already got a bloke dressed up as a Viking pretending he's Sean Bean. They've already got that. They need less Sean, less, because I can just imagine Sean Bean turning on Channel 4 and this boy saying, "Oh, I'm Sean Bean." He's like, "No, I'm Sean Bean, am I?" And checking his passport.
They definitely need a puppet on there.
Yeah, because it'd be really funny if you, Gordon, and Hacker were all an 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown.
It would
that would just be
chaos.
Hilarious.
It would be chaos.
Because it'd be Hacker after the Watershed trying to say as many swear words as he can think of.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now, coming to wrap up the bulk of the interview. Now
it's the second slice of bread.
Yes, it's the second slice of bread. In our the meat in the middle was spam. I like to inform, because spam's nice. Now, with ventriloquism, where no YouTube, but if YouTube didn't exist, because there was time before YouTube, how would you suggest people to go about learning more about it as an art form, or trying to learn it as a skill?
Learning about it as an art form, there's loads of books. There's really good books. There's one by a ventriloquist called Valentine Vox, which is sort of like an ultimate history of ventriloquism, which is it's a great book, which I haven't made it all the way through, but it is just like a bible about this incredible art form, and its unlikely beginnings as well. In sort of I mean, in the timeline of ventriloquism, so you got the beginning of ventriloquism and the current day. When it became entertainment is actually fairly late along the timeline. It was used for loads of other things and some weird things before it became an entertainment, never mind comedy. But yeah, in terms of learning it, I taught myself, so I didn't have any sort of tutorials or anyone teaching me, but you can learn from I mean, you could get in touch with pester a ventriloquist. Pester a ventriloquist, don't. But there's
We definitely don't recommend pestering anyone,
Just-
unless you're pestering your
just
parents.
for me, how I learned was just playing around. So just you have to start trying, and then you will begin to start working out, play around with tongue positionings and how that would work. But there are books on how to do it out there, as well as that. Yeah.
Now, where would you recommend people to get puppets? That's a difficult one, because not a lot of people. My mum tried to. Me and my mum tried to make one. It's not the fluffiest of things. It's a good one. I'll get it. I'll get it.
Oh, he's up.
It
Hold on. What's coming into frame? Here we go.
It's called Simon, because it was
Simon.
the first name that popped in my head.
It's a good name. It's a strong name. Oh, hello. This is good. This is good.
So the puppet, this bit was made from Adam Cruchinger. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
It's his snob, whatever. It's his basic pattern.
Yeah.
And he did it for GCSE Performing Arts, and then the arms were added in afterwards. So the arms like curling, and you can do the whole thing. So where would you recommend with people to buy puppets if they haven't got the materials to build a puppet like I have?
There are lots of places to buy puppets. If you're starting out, or you want a sort of a plaything, a great place to start, and where I got my first puppet all those years ago is a website called Puppets by Post. That they do some lovely puppets and a really wide range of things as well. So they're good. If you're looking for sort of handmade stuff, there's a lot of sort of people on Etsy who sell sort of handmade things. You can sometimes pick up something secondhand on eBay, but yeah, Puppets by Post, they do lovely fun puppets.
Now, because you're a ventriloquist, a lot of them don't use hands. Would you ever incorporate like proper puppeteer hand movements when you do ventriloquism? If you ever were going to do a proper movable puppet, would it look realable?
Well, so if I get my granddad up here, because he has rods, and they're slightly different to hello, my glasses are falling off. 1 second, let me sort you out there. They're slightly different to traditional sort of overhead puppetry rods, because I'm able to control from the side. But
I can gesture. I can do what I like. He can laugh. I can laugh. I can do whatever I want. So yeah, you can add traditional puppetry movements into. Let me push my glasses up. There we go. Into a ventriloquism act. You can do rods and things like that. So yeah, that should hopefully answer your question. I'm going now. Bye.
Now, because I'm gonna put Simon away as well, because I think he might have broke his neck.
Bye, Simon.
Is that a neck injury? Now, because of me being the almighty, trying to complete every bit of thing. So if I love something, I've attempted it. Magic, I've attempted it, but according to my parents, I'm more of a Tommy Cooper than a magician, which I think is a compliment, to be fair, because I always think it's just like that. Yeah, I can't do impressions either, but I'm not very good at that. I've tried puppeteering, and I think without having a proper you know, like a your type proper puppet, it's hard. But with ventriloquism, would you recommend people to start to learn the mechanics of puppeteering before they then attempt the ventriloquism?
Oh,
Just so they know how
do it all at the same time. It's I mean, it's a multidisciplined art form. I sound so fancy. It's sort of, there's lots to it. So ventriloquism, people just think it's talking without moving your lips. That's one bit that you've got to learn. You've got to learn how to puppeteer. You've got to learn how to deliver comedy, how to act, because I have to act as if I don't know what I'm about to say through the puppet, and also that I haven't heard it before. So there's lots to it, but it is because there's lots to it, it means you can vary your practice. You can go, oh, I'll sort of, I don't fancy doing all this stuff, so I'll work on the puppetry today, and go about it that way. But yeah, start it all together. You don't need to be like an expert puppeteer before you start learning the lip stuff, and you don't need to learn the lip stuff before you pick up a puppet. Pick up a puppet.
Yeah. So with learning ventriloquism, do you reckon there is a quick way to someone to learn, not learn it fully, but like learn it to an extent where it like sort of looks like the mouth's not moving, but they're gently learning it? Is there a way to learn it in a quicker way?
In a quicker way, to look better is to not use any difficult words. So, I mean, I'm sure it's possible to write a script that doesn't have any difficult sounds in it, and then just a sort of relaxed face. And I mean, hello and idiot. I mean, idiot was my first word, not as a baby with ventriloquism. I wasn't just like idiot. But so hello, idiot is really easy to say. There's a little short play. That was my answer.
Wow. And so coming to talk about with things now, I don't know if you've heard, because I don't know how I've heard, but I've met him as well. Richard Herring, if you've heard of him.
I have.
The Richard of the Herring, or Herring of the Richard. He started a podcast called Herring and Ali's Twitch of Fun. That is where Richard Herring has developed ventriloquism skills in 50, like over the time. You can tell his mouth's moving some of the time, but he's learned them. And what is that like something? Is it harder because Richard's almost 60, or is he 60? Well, he's in the older age. Do you reckon it's harder to learn when you're older, or is it when you're younger?
I think, I mean, with learning anything, it's usually easier when you're younger. But it's not impossible to learn at any age. I don't have an academic answer to that, but I'd say you can learn at any age, probably easier when you're younger, but that's just personal experience, because that's what I did in it.
Yeah. Now with puppets, I'm going to bring back Simon just to demonstrate the point. So with my puppet, which is my first ever homemade one, which obviously there was improvements when you do it again. How or where do you buy clothing for the puppets?
You mug a toddler, and the children's section is where I've bought the clothing for these. I mean, with a smaller puppet like Simon, you probably have to either buy something and then sort of tailor it to it, or make something from scratch. But you know, for pantomime, I've had a few sort of bits made for Gordon, but Grandad's dressed purely in stuff from the kids section.
Yeah, because it like when we say kids, are we saying like 4 or 5, or
it depends on the size of the puppet. I think some of Grandad's stuff is 3 to 4, some of it is 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I mean, this has 12M on it, which I can only assume stands for 12 months and not 12 meters. So that's a year old.
So if you guys wanted to buy clothes, we would recommend buying online. Then you don't look like an insane person buying it from the shop, because
that bit is a bit odd.
Yeah, a bit odd.
A bit strange.
It's a bit strange. Now, there it goes. It flashed before your eyes. Now, if you were going to dress Big Bird in baby clothes, do you reckon they'll easily rip?
Big Bird.
Yes. And then
Oh yes, the clue's in the name here, Tom. It's a very big bird.
yeah. Now, I'm not saying. So what's your so going away from ventriloquism and
Yeah,
going away from
ventriloquism, go away.
going away from like hand puppets, and going away from their traditional. What's your other favorite type of puppetry? That could be like live hand. That could be full body. That could be marionette.
I really like stuff that so it's sometimes called tabletop, but it's like more traditional. That is sort of bunraku. It's from the Japanese art from
Yeah.
bunraku, but like when you've got three puppeteers on a puppet, it doesn't necessarily have to have a moving mouth, but you've got three puppeteers, one on head and arm, one on arm and waist, and two on legs. I love what you can achieve with that. I think it's so exciting. It's boring. It's not boring, but I like that. I think that's
Yeah,
cool.
like Warhorse.
Yeah, some of that. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Warhorse. Yeah.
Yeah, that is it's. I saw it because I've never actually seen the play of Warhorse. My brother saw it. He said it was rubbish. I don't believe him. He says a lot of music. He doesn't like musicals and plays. He's a boring
That
one.
might be why.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the reason he didn't like Warhorse because he doesn't like plays.
yeah, and when I watched the on Blue Peter, they had it in, and it is just amazing. And what I like about stage performers that aren't ventriloquists is that they have to put them in either black in wearing complete blackness, because then they don't look invisible. And do you reckon that's easier to do? Like as a non-ventriloquist puppeteer, do you reckon that's easy to do or harder?
I wouldn't necessarily think it is different in difficulty level. I'd probably just say it's a different skill set.
Yeah.
So whilst the sort of same principles of puppetry are used, I'm working very much solo, whereas they are working one part of a team puppeteered puppet, and so that's a completely different mindset to be in. Yeah.
Mm. So if a let's say 6-year-old boy called Timmy, that's the first name that's coming to my head. He's watching
Right.
this, he's watching this interview now, and
Hello, Timmy.
and he's really inspired by what you do. What advice would you give little Timmy?
Stop it. I would say get a puppet, have fun, play around with it. Sorry, yawning. You're bored. I'm not bored. Get a puppet, have fun, play around with it. I think the sense of play is really important. I mean, I'm talking very maturely to this 6-year-old boy now, but I think play is very important. No, just have fun with it, Timmy.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Just don't think about a career yet, Timmy. Just have fun.
Mm.
Goodness sake,
Now,
Timmy.
yeah. Now, if with the ways you can do ventriloquism, which is the standard microphone bit where you trick the sound technician into thinking that the microphone's not working, have you ever tried to do it where you stand next to someone whilst on the phone and try to pretend like the phone's talking out loud just to make someone laugh?
I haven't done that, but I have. There's a sort of novelty ventriloquism trick, which is the baby cry, which is you can make a fairly realistic sound of a baby crying, which I have enjoyed doing whilst looking into a post box. But that's cruel.
Oh, that's a really weird sentence.
Isn't it?
I made a baby cry noise whilst looking into a post box.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
good. I need a hobby.
So, as a statement on TV, as a statement that you're making about if someone on the BBC, a producer called Harold the Great,
Tea towel.
Harold the Great, is what he's called. And if he's watching and you had 10 seconds to pitch a program or pitch a crossover between two programs that don't have puppets in it and with a puppet involved, what would you say to Harold Greatman?
You're gonna count me down.
Okay, right, let's go. No, hang on. I've got a timer. Here.
No.
We'll get the timer up. See. Right, get thinking. Right, the timer. We'll set the timer to that's minutes. We'll give you 15 seconds. Right, and the timer, and your time begins now.
It would be a really, really fun show with me, puppets. Fun for all the family. The whole family can watch round and sit round and watch it. It'll be fun, silly, nonsense, and some much-needed anarchy and light relief in the world today. Thank you. Goodbye, Harold. Bye.
There you go. And then Harold would say,
Harold would say, "Who are you? Get out of my car."
This is Harold.
Harold
would say, I will commission that.
Thank you, Harold, and thank you for your little laugh at the end.
Yeah. Now we're coming towards the end of this story.
The second slice of bread. It's lovely. It's bread, meat, bread, and then another slice of bread.
Yeah, we're coming towards the end of the interview, and it's time for people to discover where they can see you in the flesh. Before we get onto your socials, where are you on tour or anything?
So I am doing a few comedy clubs coming up, away resorts. They're a holiday park company I work for, so I've got some dates for them. I've got a few cruises this year as well, but essentially the way to find out where I will be performing and also watch some of my great content would be the socials. So it's Max Fulham on Instagram. Fulham is Fulham, like the place in London. And Max Fulham Comedy, at Max Fulham Comedy on Facebook and TikTok. And then at Max Fulham again on Twitter. And then follow me or like the page or do all of those actions, because that's where I tend to post sort of announcements of things coming up.
Yeah. Well, everyone's looking forward to watch your career go from here, which is the stable, to here, which is the top of the mountain, which is
flipping heck. It's a big mountain.
Yeah, it's mega famous. We're looking forward to see where you come, because what you've done so far is so amazing and is so unique, because you get very few, like barely any young people these days actually doing ventriloquism to the level of amazingness that you have. And to end the interview, I will say, if you want to learn ventriloquism, first of all, I want to say the word. There you go. That's my piece of advice. And
yeah, that's a great piece of advice.
That's a great piece of advice. And if you're on Crackerjack again, which character would you take on for a third?
Oh, I might take on someone completely new this time, because Grandad and Gordon have been on there. I might take something completely new.
Oh, that's a little bit of tease. And to cap off the interview, would you be able to, in your Gordon voice, because it'd be even funnier, say the words, "Goodbye for now. I've got to go and cut the banana up to put in my cheese sandwich that isn't full of chilies."
I'll get him to do it himself.
Here we go. Want a saying?
You'll have to remember.
No, here we go. Don't get too close. Cheerio, goodbye for now. Got to go and cut up the banana for a cheese sandwich, which is not full of cheese. Is that all right?
Yes, that is brilliant. Well, thank you for this wonderful interview. I shall use that clip out of context.
Oh, dear. Oh, no. What have I got myself into?
Can't believe you've done this. Think before you speak.
Stop pretending it's not your fault.
Right. Thank you guys for watching this interview. Obviously, most of Mac's links will be in the description because I do not use TikTok or the Instagram, but I think I can find the Instagram link very, very quickly. And thank you to Max, and thank you to Gordon, and hopefully you make up and become friends again later. Thank you guys for watching. Now for the Tom Mason Empire, which is for the Tom Mason Empire got coming up, we have something special on Tom Mason on the 31st of January, Monday, 6 p.m. And get excited for that. That will be something incredible, and not as it will be incredible in different ways. It won't involve fighting, which is obviously the funniest thing that's ever happened when trying to close off an interview, because we want this interview to be an hour, and he's lost an arm. Wow. So, as I said again, if you want to see Max Fulham, links in the description. I would highly recommend you check him out because he's worth it. And I'll see you all next time. Time on, time out. Bye! Hopefully, he hasn't sustained any puppetry injuries.